Today's hit music, 92.9 NIN. I'm Tony Kerns. Now, next Friday is going to be the theatrical release worldwide of the new Sacha Baron Cohen movie, Bruno. Now, you already know the name. You already know the kind of stuff he does. A few years ago, he brought us the movie Borat. Now, in that movie, he messes with so many people. One of the people that he messes with now lives in Wichita Falls, and he is the chief meteorologist over at Channel 6, Ken Johnson. He's in the studio with me. Ken, thank you so much for coming in. I know this is one of the first times you've actually gotten to talk about this film.
Yeah, this is exciting for me. I've had people, radio stations, magazines from all over the world that have contacted me, especially right before and right after the release of Borat, wanting to talk about the movie with me and how my part came to be. But the place that I worked for, the company, kind of wanted to keep it hush-hush. They were a little afraid that the movie might bring some negative publicity to that particular TV station. So they basically said, no interviews, no red carpet parties. We were invited to go to the red carpet party premiere in Hollywood, all expenses paid. And basically the general manager says no.
Oh, so you missed out on this.
Oh, I missed out on a great opportunity to party with the celebrities and the stars and all that kind of stuff. So I hated we didn't get to do all of that. I hated I didn't get to do radio interviews, but I'm glad I get to be here now, though.
I'm glad you get to be here, too, because this is an NIN exclusive now.
This is fun. Yes, it is.
Now, how did this all come to be? I mean, where were you when all this went down? Where were you working?
Okay, I was working for a television station in Jackson, Mississippi. That's my home. WAPT, the ABC station there. And I was doing the morning shift. Actually, believe it or not, I was actually filling in for my morning guy. The morning guy is a guy by the name of Kevin Robinson, and if anybody watches the Weather Channel, he now works for the Weather Channel. He's a black guy, does a very good job for them. But anyway, he was actually off interviewing for that job whenever I was filling in for him on that particular morning. So I'm in there getting my show ready to go. This is early in the morning, and my producer comes back there and says, we got a guy coming in. It's from his country. I don't remember the name of the country. I'm not good with the names. So.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah, Kazakhstan. I never can pronounce that very good. So she comes back there and says, hey, we got this guy from Kazakhstan coming in, and he's going to be bringing a film crew with him. He's filming a documentary to take back to show his government of how we do television and do other things here in the U.S. So I didn't think anything of it. We always have people come in and interview on the morning show, so no big deal to me. So I'm sitting there getting ready to go on, getting my microphone on, and I look up and I see this guy walking across the studio with this really funky-looking hairdo, this crazy-looking mustache, and he has on this really crazy-looking suit. So I'm already laughing at him. I just think he just looks hilarious. And I see his in the movie. There's this bigger guy that's in the movie with him.
Yeah.
His supposed to be his whatever he is, his little partner or whatever.
Yeah, kind of like his tour manager.
Right,
in a way.
tour manager. So I see him walk in and all the cameras, and they have these big long mics. They call them boom mics. But anyway, so they're walking around, and he sits down to interview, and he interviews with my morning co-anchor, Brad McMullen. And they start talking. Brad's trying to ask him these questions, just in general questions about his country and how does he feel about being in the U.S. and how does he feel about coming to Mississippi and that kind of stuff. And he just starts ranting and raving, all this hilarious stuff. At one point in time, he says, please, will you let me know before we start this interview, the interview's already started, so I can go make water or go to the bathroom or something like that. And then he says, he asked for a microphone, and Brad says, that's what this thing is right here. And so he looks down, oh, okay. Then he yells, and hello, real loud like that. And then at the end of the interview, he talks about how he wants to invite this guy, my co-anchor, to his country. They treat him like family, and at the end of it, he says, "You can come and use my sister." So at that point in time, I'm thinking, "Hey, this is hilarious. This guy, he's either just a quack, or maybe this is how they do things over in their country. I don't know. This is hilarious." I just thought it was so funny. So I'm going up there to do weather. That's over with, and everybody just can't believe some of the stuff and things he just did. And I'm up there doing the weathercast. And about that time, Borat walks across the studio, and I see him out of the corner of my eye, and I just glance up, and all of a sudden I know the next thing I know is he's walking on camera, live weather going on, shaking my hand and kissing me on both sides of the cheek, asking me what my name was and what did I do there. And the thing about it was I worked for a station that was real strict, because you probably can already kind of tell about some of the things I've said. But we were the weather leader, the big weather honchos, or whatever you want to say, and I was afraid that they were going to view this negative. So I knew that I had to maintain my composure the best I could. And the more and more I fought it, the harder it got, because I just thought it was so funny. I got real tickled. I couldn't stop laughing.
I just watched the clip before you came up, and in this movie, most people's reactions are shock. They're trying to be cordial. Some of them outright just annoyed and irritated. But yeah, you could not stop laughing. I think you had one of the best reactions in the film to what was going on.
Well, I've seen the film, and some of the people, like you say, did react bad. There's a couple college kids. I think they kind of get a little racial with him, but yeah, it was just funny to me, and that's kind of the guy that I am. I just like to have fun, and it was just funny to me.
Now, how do you feel after everything is said and done? A lot of people actually sued him for the way that they were portrayed. You and the people you worked with came off in a very positive light. Did you actually like the experience in retrospect?
Oh, yeah, I love the experience. It was a lot of fun. There was nothing negative that came out of ours. There was nothing bad, nothing vulgar. I couldn't complain at all. I think my producer, she probably took it a little harder than anybody else. She thought she was really going to get in trouble for it, and she didn't. Not really. They kind of slapped her on the wrist a little bit, but nothing major. They did background checks on this guy. He checked out. So
that shows the extent that they went to with this film,
right?
That he checked out in a background check. Yep. Now, you've already mentioned you had to miss out on the red carpet experience.
Yep.
What other kind of, I don't want to use the word repercussions, but what else has happened to you since then? Because this is about 3 years now since this movie came out.
Well, one thing that was pretty interesting was about a year after the movie came out, I was riding around in my car one day, and my wife called me up and said, "Hey, are you expecting a check from 20th Century Fox?" I was like, "No." She said, "Well, you just got a check from them for $5,000.
Oh.
So that was payment for DVD sales and for pay-per-view sales. And ever since then, about every 2 to 3 months, I'll get a check in the mail for about $2,000 to $4,000. So far in all, off of Borat, I've made about $15,000.
For 1 day's work.
For 1 day's work. So that's my little small part, about 1 minute long. Now, you can imagine what Sacha Baron Cohen's making out of this.
Oh, yeah, especially
just filthy rich.
High DVD sales. Everybody's talking about it. Now, The whole reason we're talking now is because he has another movie coming out. Bruno,
yes.
Another character from the Ali G show. His 3 main characters, Ali G, Borat, now Bruno, all of them have films. How do you feel about the idea of this film?
Oh, I can't wait. I thought the movie, it was a little dirty, okay? There were some scenes in it that I could have done without seeing, but I can't wait for this new one to come out to see the reaction on these people's face, because these people that he's spoofing, they think it's real. They don't know that this is all acting. They don't know that this is all pretend. And I just can't wait to see what some of the expressions on some of these people's face. I mean, he's a brilliant actor. He really is. Because he was, when I had my encounter with him, he never came out of character one time. That was who he was.
So at no point during any of this have you've never really met Sacha Baron Cohen. You just met Borat.
I just remember the mustache on my face. That's it. That's the only thing I remember.
And that's what I've heard. This guy drops character for nothing. Well, I want to thank you again for coming in. This has been a lot of fun and kind of gives us a really good idea of just what this guy goes through to pull the wool over so many people's eyes.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bruno comes out next week, and I really hope people have the mentality that you do about this film. We ran a VIP poll on our website asking people what they thought of the film after viewing the trailer, and something about 75% of the people voted said they could not be paid enough to see this film.
Well, I don't know. I guess everybody to each his own. Everybody has their own opinions, but I think this will be I think it's going to be a hilarious film. Borat was very funny. If you take away some of the vulgar scenes, very, very funny, but I think Bruno is going to be funny too.
All right, well, thank you very much, Ken Johnson, chief meteorologist at Channel 6, and also a very big foil for Borat, but hey, it paid off nicely.
It sure did. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you again for coming in.